people coming in early this week. Like that, they had a bunch of people come in and work like 12 hours yesterday. I'm like, you do realize, guys, you people who came in, you worked 12 hours. It may be voluntary, but you shouldn't have gotten. You should have gotten a 1 hour lunch. I bet they didn't tell you that, did they? But oh well. Things that make me weird. The reason why I'm calling it this is because there's no Doctor Who news to speak of. I'm not going to sit here and mislead people into thinking I've tapped into some hidden secret oracle of knowledge that's going to give me some insight, unlike certain other folks like Wind Tunnel Tested Hairdo and um, some other folks out there who seem to think that because they're extras or something, or they work in an office in the BBC, that they have some insight into what's going to happen. Problem is, the people who do might have some insight into what's going to happen are too busy flicking their bean, taking pictures of themselves on what's left of the TARDIS set, and you know, deciding which if they're whether or not they're going to wear blindfolds to the next office circle jerk. But oh god, monetization just went out the window, didn't it? But I was just sitting there thinking back to the golden years of the Omega Files. When like I said, I had somebody who broke down because nobody was celebrating the anniversary of the Pink Panther, and I'm not going to name who they are because that's old news, but I was just wondering how they'd react today to find out that they're going to reboot the Pink Panther again, with Eddie Murphy playing Inspector Clouseau. I want to say Cousteau because he's Jacques Cousteau, but I know it's not right. That's right, Eddie Murphy playing Inspector Clouseau. This has gone apeshit. What's going to be next? It's like, oh, then somebody going on and on because they're dating Ariana Grande, and I'm like, dude, I'd be afraid that the wind would blow her away at this point. Okay, it's like, I'm not kidding. When you see her on actual cameras and not ones with SFX to edit out all the muscle ridges and the and her bones poking to her skin, I'm not kidding. The gal looks like she's literally anorexic. I'm not kidding. She does not look healthy at all. Oh yeah, and I heard about thank you. The lady who played the witch in Wicked is going to be playing Jesus in some movie production. I'm like, imagine the name of that production: Jesus Christ, Psycho Bitch. I'm sorry. Oh god. I'm sorry. The woman's a nut. Just look her in the eye. She's got that crazy look. I don't think it's coming back anytime soon, and they just don't want to admit it. At least not until War Between the Land and the Sea airs. And if it sucks or doesn't, then that's probably when you'll finally get, an announcement, a formal announcement. They keep saying, we're going to try to do this, we're going to try to do that. Well, there's one problem. And I hate to say it, and I didn't think I'd ever say this. RTD has to go. There was just far too much dumb shit in this last couple of seasons that did not need to be there. Like I said, oh look, we got. I bet he's practically rubbing his morning wood to the point it lights on fire over the fact that, oh looky, we finally got an Emmy nomination. You got an Emmy nomination for choreography, you dumbass. Oh. But like I said, these are just things that make me weird because it's just the world's gone crazy. Like, remember, I started actually listening to some of the stuff Ian Levine did again, but now he's just on these not endless crazy tirades about Donald Trump. And I'm like, dude, you don't have to live with him. And also, people just don't seem to get the fact that it doesn't matter who's in the White House. They're a middleman. They're a figurehead. They're a PR piece. That's all they are. I never thought I'd say these words, but RTD has to go. He stepped in, and this whole supernatural thing was beyond dumb. when we've already had it how many times in Doctor Who history we came upon a foe that would appear to be supernatural, but it turns out no, they're not. They're just different species, or they have different abilities given to them by being a different species, or they had technology that would seem like magic to other people. And there are very few rare exceptions to that rule, such as ultra powerful characters like, of course, the Toy Maker and whatnot. But even then, they weren't put down as gods. While, some were worshipped as gods because of their seemingly godlike abilities, they were not gods. Well, except maybe the gods of Ragnarok. I'd have to go back and rewatch that one now. But, I'm not kidding. I am truly worried about the UK and stuff like that, but it's not my place to complain about it. It's the UK citizens who have to say, enough of this dumb shit. I don't even know who the hell that is to be their brother. Okay, but literally now, you have crimes being committed on the street, yet they're too busy worrying about what, Miss Zelda Rubish is posting on Twitter or whatever. They're going to, instead of taking money and putting it to actual law enforcement, they're creating a division just to scan X and, social media. I'm like, whatever happened to sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Now anything will hurt you. Words are violence if used in a certain way. That shit should have never been allowed to fly. I actually saw a professor get confronted on that who was preaching that shit. That by using words, blah, 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 that you're opening up to violence. So let me get this straight. If I have a difference of opinion that in any way interjects reality into this conversation, I'm using violence against somebody. I wish to God, there are just days, like I said, I'm not a violent person, but I want to slap them one. Not open hand, just give them a good slap. That's violence. These are words. That's violence. Big difference. Violence is a physical harmful act. I'm not kidding, if we start, we're already down the road to the point that George Orwell is sitting in heaven, masturbating furiously with a look on his face. What? Sorry, heard something in the background there. Masturbating furiously, and he's got that look on his face like one of the YouTube reactioners who actually picked it, what do you call it, verbal was Kaiser Soze. Like it was, a completely brilliant deduction, like they were Sherlock Holmes or Hercule frickin' Poirot. Cancel culture is over, maybe here, but I'm not kidding, the UK, it is like an Orwellian nightmare gone mad. It's going to be like V for fucking Vendetta over there. Yeah, who knew that V for Vendetta was a prophetic piece? Oh, I know. We're on that way down that road too. It's just it's kind of like being on a road with the speed bumps. We're on the speed bump road. We're getting there. We will be there eventually. But everybody keeps trying, okay, maybe if we do this, maybe if we do that, this won't happen, blah, blah. We're boned, folks. Like I said, the First Amendment is dead. The Second Amendment's in critical condition. The Fourth Amendment is boobs up and taking on water. Well, it's just, I don't live in the UK either, but I'm not kidding. Just read some of the things that are going on over there. Like I said, though, it's not my place to tell them what to do, but I can see what's happening. And it's happening here too still. The lawless are allowed to run around doing whatever the hell they want on the street because, if you enforce the law on criminals, you might be a racist. I'm like, it's literally gotten to that point. Now you've got gangs beating up people in the streets in Cincinnati, Ohio. It's going to get to the point the streets are going to be like they were back in the Old West, where if you don't carry the biggest gun, you're a victim. No, but that's what the media is saying, is that only other races commit crimes. Here's the problem. Like the whole white privilege thing. Guys, when I was 18 years old, I was pulled over and had my car searched because somebody claimed I stole a cell phone and it was in my car. A couple of years later, I had 5 guns pointing in my head because somebody claimed I had a gun in the car. And I was almost shot that night. A couple years after that, I was nearly ran off the road and accused of road rage and a whole bunch of other stuff when I was just following my sister and her boyfriend to the hospital to see my dad before he went into surgery. I was accused of reckless operation of a motor vehicle and road rage and something else, and I was just following a car. Neither one of us were even breaking the speed limit. The problem is we literally live in countries now where the criminals now have more rights than the average citizen. So yeah, that's why I die laughing when people bring up the white privilege card. I'm like, dude, I've had white and black cops try it, I've been on both sides of it. Matter of fact, here's one I don't tell very many people. A few years later, and this had to have been around 2008 or so. I was going through that one city where I'd been pulled over and accused of having a gun. Next thing you know, I've got an undercover car. A couple of guys, I think it was in a Honda, pulling me over, claiming that I cut off a police car. I was at I was on a 4-lane. I got a left green arrow, which gave me a protected left turn. There were no audible sirens, no visible sirens, nothing in the area. I just simply turned left. And next thing you know, I've got this car following me with these little, Kojak lights on. And sure enough, a couple of the guys that were in the car were a couple of the guys who were there the night I quote unquote had a gun, trying to tell me that I had cut off a police car. And I'm like, really? Where's the audible sirens? Where's the visual sirens? And when they found out where I worked, they kind of shut up. I said, guys, look, for one, if there had been a police car I cut off, that police car would have pulled me over. That would have been a full-on patrol officer standard vehicle. He would have been in uniform. He would have then issued me a citation. Neither one of you are in uniform. You're both in a car, and like I said, I know exactly who you both are. But the problem is, right now, I got free legal. So if you want to go downtown and we'll process this, I guarantee you, a whole lot of sins are going to come out. Oh, Jesus. Here's the problem. There are days where I am kind of racist. Why? Because I hate the entire human race. And I'm one of them. I sometimes think how much better off we'd have been if Neanderthal had taken over the planet. Ugh. Because ever since time immemorial, we've been at war with each other over the dumbest shit. Oh, well. So once again, the SDC has come and gone. There's still no news. We got a little itty bitty, like 30-second thing for war between the land and sea, and they're trying to make it look like unit's gonna be serious again. And I'm like, I'll believe it when I see it on the screen in front of me. All right. Well, I got to get inside, folks. I just looked at the time. I'm way over. So take care, everyone. Please be kind, be calm, be safe. Enjoy the rest of your day. And above everything, try to be kind to everybody. That's the best thing you can do. So take care, everyone. We'll hopefully see y'all tomorrow.